Hello and welcome to Three Geeks Live. My name is Jason, joined by Philip, Mike, Max, and special guest Joe P. Welcome. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good.
Great. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Joe, you were our first fan, and now you're on the show. How are you doing today, man?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
You still watching Gotham?
No, actually, but not for the reason Max thinks. I no longer work night shift. I don't have the time to turn it on while I'm at the office, so there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's totally understandable. Max, you got a few things you'd like to say to the audience?
Do I have a few things I'd like to say to the audience?
You said you did. You said you wanted to send out apologies or whatever at the front of the show.
Oh, goodness sake. No, I didn't do my homework. I don't know exactly what I need to apologize for. I was just tapping the idea around. Didn't realize that there was a tilt on that one. But, I actually want to give my sincere apology for anyone I might have offended with any of my remarks in the last Geek News episode. Any other podcasts I might have been on, I stand behind all of those remarks.
Oh, Max.
That's funny, man. All right, so let's just get into it. So last week we talked about how Vin Diesel was planning a Fast and Furious trilogy, a last 3 films. He's going to make 3 more films and done. That's not going to happen. But then there were some rumors floating around that Vin Diesel was going to direct this himself, which makes everybody want to jump off a bridge. And now it looks like they have tapped F. Gary Gary as the director of Furious 8. He is fresh off his hit Strata Compton, which broke August box office records for R-rated film. He's also the director of Friday. Sure, Furious 8. Let's see what this guy can do. I like the franchise post 5. I know Max didn't like 7, but I did find 7 enjoyable. I really liked how the end. I like how they tied up Walker's story in 7. I thought that was really well done. And the only thing I want out of 8 is to just let that be done. Don't try to say, oh, his character was killed off or whatever, in between films. We don't need that. He got a good send off. Just let that character just be done. You can do things without him. He's got a family. It makes sense that he's staying home with his family. We don't need to know that he died. That to just totally take away from the emotional ending. But Mike, your thoughts on Furious 8?
Cool. Fine. Let's have another one. I'm sure it'll be fun. Like I said before, as long as they find new and creative ways to have car chases, fine. I'll be happy with that, I guess. I will admit I was mildly interested in the idea of Vin Diesel directing something because I feel like that would have been hilarious. So, never mind. Oh well.
When I heard that Vin Diesel wanted to direct 8, I got flashbacks to Shatner directing Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier, where he met God. That movie's horrible.
That is very true.
Joe, your thoughts? Any thoughts on Furious 8?
So oddly enough, I finally watched 7 last night for the first time, and it was horrible. I like the direction it went as far as turning them into action movies versus the first couple, right, where it's just a quarter-mile race. I enjoyed that, but when he broke out of his cast in the hospital with the whole it was over. It was over. It was done. It was too much. Yeah. So I don't know. I would actually at this point, I was talking to my wife about it this morning. I'd actually like to see him maybe go back to quarter-mile drag strip for the first of this end trilogy.
I think they said that was the plan, to kind of revisit the roots a little bit. But I totally get why you wouldn't like Furious 7, because it is cheesy. The cast just flexing and shattering. And the irony of them bouncing around in cars and falling off buildings when their star just died, and there's no mention of it at the end. Don't try this at home. We just lost Paul Walker in a horrible accident. People don't just bounce off of the ground. So I get it. I totally do. Max, your thoughts on Furious 8, 9?
I think that if Vin Diesel directed the next Furious movie, you wouldn't actually notice any difference. That's what I think. With the quality of the last one, I think Vin Diesel could get away with directing it. You really notice at all. Just have some super cool cars, you show some hot chicks, and then you show them blowing something up and driving away. It's really not that hard of a movie to make. You don't even need dialogue. You can just play like cheesy, like Nickelback rock music all the way throughout, and then call it a day.
No, I was just thinking that because I know Vin Diesel sometimes touts himself as being very artiste-like, so it'd be like him trying to be like really like, I don't know, emulating
Oh yeah,
some.
you bring Shakespeare to
Yeah, exactly. He's a thespian.
Yeah, I would watch that. I would happily watch that. But F. Gary Gray, that dude directed a whole bunch of good movies. Like whatever he wants to direct, I'll at least give it a first watch. The only movie that he made that I didn't really, get behind was Law Abiding Citizens, because all the white people die in that movie for some random reason, and like none of the black people die.
To be fair, Max, usually it's the opposite in movies where all the black people die and the white people live.
It's just weird. It's weird any way you do it. Like, why? The way he ended it, just to kill the last white person, made the movie not make any sense. But he's like, God damn it, I will kill all these white people.
Well, we got the first thing Max will be apologizing for on episode 7 of 3 Geeks
But
podcast.
it's true. Watch the movie. All the white people die. None of the black people die. I mean, that's racism. I'm against racism.
I like it, Max. Yeah, so I mean, a Furious 8. I mean, it could be interesting with him leading the helm, because I didn't realize it, but I guess he was director of the Italian Job, so at least he probably has some ways to do action. He might be able to actually weave a story in there. I don't know if everyone wants this story, but he may try to, just to try and reinvigorate, because I agree. I don't think he could go 3 more movies at the rate of cheese that this is going. I mean, it'll go beyond what we remember from like the early 90s, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone movies, and it'll turn into like some like over-the-top cheese factor, which could be fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I would love to see, people just blowing up and then coming back together and
They are
continuing to fight.
Expendables.
It'll be more than that, man. That's the rate they're going. They'll exceed Expendables. Think about it, man. He just burst out of a cast.
They swapped a girl between cars doing like 80 miles an hour. At first I thought they were just gonna toss the computer, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then she jumped out the car with it.
And then let's not forget the classic driving of a car from one hotel skyscraper into another, and then through that, and then out of that into another hotel skyscraper. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else. What else can you do? I guess they could have that thing where I think it was Transporter 2, where he drives the car, it hits a ramp, corkscrews. There's a bomb on the bottom of it. He just knocks the bomb off the bottom without scratching any of the car. The car finishes its barrel roll, lands on all 4 tires. The bomb goes off behind it. They're gonna have. I think that's like the only way. Maybe like if a plane hits a car and the explosion causes the Rock to like get flung 8 miles and he lands on his feet.
So they did that in the last movie. They took the plane out with the cars in the last movie. They can't do it again.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I got nothing.
So
maybe they could have a tank come out of a car or out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Just drive a tank straight out of an airplane. Oh wait, they already did that.
They did that as well.
I don't know what else.
Yeah, come on, man. They drive
Maybe
Transformers.
The next one.
They drive Transformers.
Let's do it up. Let's mix 21 Jump Street, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Turtles, and what else we got? There's something else in there. Jurassic Park. Good to go.
And throw the Expendables in there too, for good measure.
Yeah, why not? Let's get some old action stars.
So, back in June, I didn't send the story to you guys because I just remembered it, but back in June, Paramount assembled a writer's room of some of the best writers in Hollywood. Showrunner from Daredevil was there. Damon Lindelof was there. A bunch, like the biggest writers of any movies, was in this room. And so they sat down, they hashed out the future of the Transformers universe. And then this week, they announced that they were making Transformers 5, 6, 7, and 8, and Michael Bay was probably going to be directing all of them. So they spent this time to get these great writers in a room to discuss the future of this franchise, and then just let it all just fall into a volcano and just going to keep doing what they've been doing, which you can't. You can hate them because the movies suck, but as a financial standpoint, it makes sense that they are going to keep doing what's making them money, because for some reason these movies get worse after each other, but they make more than the previous one. I don't get it. Do you get it? Max, explain it to us.
Well, if I could explain it to you, then I wouldn't, punch myself in anger and bash my head against the wall every time one of these stupid Transformers movies comes out. I keep on expecting them to do as well as, I don't know, like Fantastic Four did, and for some strange reason they actually make money. I got nothing, man. It's a conundrum. It's one of those universal laws that just doesn't make any sense. Transformers will make money no matter how bad they are. You can have niggerbots and gigantic swinging balls clanking around and nothing. They won't kill the franchise. So, you know what? Go ahead. Like, make 20 movies. They can't do anything wrong. They literally can't do anything wrong.
Oh. Joe, follow that up, buddy.
They make money because it's regurgitated, because it's all on the computer. They don't have to do anything, right? They just get a new actor for the voice. And frankly, it's eye candy. I'll go watch a movie if there's hot chick in it, because I don't know, was that good? Because I got nothing else.
No, that's about. I think that's about right, because that's honest. I mean, like, because I won't go watch them anymore. I tried a few times after 3 or 4, but for me, it's just, it'll be interesting to see if anything even comes of that writer summit. Like, why would they even bother? Why would they spend that money to create what they say is going to be this universe that they're not going to follow? I mean, why would you spend the money? Just give it to Michael Bay and let him do whatever he wants. Maybe there'll be something interesting that'll come of it, because maybe they recognize that the U.S. is slowly diminishing, but the world is making up for that diminishing return. So.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about the U.S. anymore? It's all about China.
I mean, the rest of the world, you're 100% correct. Not just China.
Mike?
Whatever, man. China.
Yeah, in the world where these movies are going to get made regardless of what people think, they're going to get, because, yeah, I think you said it right, it's easy money, essentially, and here's the thing, I'll watch stupid for stupid's sake, just don't make it annoying like the first 3 were. I actually enjoyed the last one a little bit. I mean, I wholly acknowledge it's dumb, but I was able to enjoy it a little bit more just because Mark Wahlberg is far more tolerable than Shia LaDouche saying anything. So just don't make it ear-rapingly annoying, and I'll be fine to sit for 2 hours and watch idiocy on screen.
No.
I listened to a bunch of other podcasts, and it's true. What they said was the studios, their only communication with the fans is the money, the tickets, right? So by the Transformers making $1.4 billion, people are telling the studios they want more of this crappy universe that they are giving us. It's like, you take the Transformers made, what, $1.3 billion? Think if that movie had been good. Like, think if everybody would have liked it, how much more money that movie would have made. Who knows? It could have possibly beaten Avatar. We don't know. Considering that the reviews, and I don't know anybody who has ever come up to me and said that they enjoyed watching it. I'm sure that there's obviously people out there that did, but just think, if the 5 of us had actually enjoyed these movies, like, how much more would it have made if it was good? Like, so I don't understand. Why can't they just try to make it good? You assembled a writing team of, I believe there was 100 of what's called the best writers in Hollywood right now, and you're telling me the best anybody could come up with was more Michael Bay? That's bull. I see this story, and I think that they just ignored everything that happened in that writer's room when they hatched out this universe and just followed the money.
Maybe he's going to use their outline.
Yeah. And also, I think it just depends on what your own individual tolerance for bullshit is. I mean, here's the whole deal. It's like the reason why things like the Marvel movies and the Avengers and stuff, and people, for the most part, really enjoy them, and also they make great money, is because they're entertaining, but also they got characters that you enjoy to watch as well. With Transformers, there's only like two other than the human people who I don't give two shits about that I can pick out. That's Optimus and Bumblebee. And for the most part, they're okay, but they're not characters. Like, I full wholeheartedly acknowledge, like, this is just about big robots hitting each other. That's about it. And I'm just like, in that case, I'm like, I'm not invested in the Transformers franchise as much as like maybe hardcore fans are. Same as, I'm sorry to say this, Jason, same as it will be when that Power Rangers movie comes out. I'm gonna go just because this is gonna be ridiculous as shit to watch, and just to see if they do it like grim and gritty or whatever. But I don't give two craps about any of the Power Rangers except for JDF, of course, because he could probably kick my ass.
Yeah, JDF, he's a character, and he gave us an interview, so thank you for that, Jason David Frank. Hey, he's gonna be in it apparently.
Should I start calling them the blaxploitation bots instead of the other one? Is that better?
That's probably less offensive, Max.
I mean, that's what they are. Everyone knows it.
Jesus. All right, moving on. Joe Robert Cole is in final talks to write a draft for Black Panther. They're not actively seeking a director until the script is finished, but at the top of the list is rumored to be F. Gary Gary again. So if I'm F. Gary Gary and I have a choice between Black Panther and Furious 8, I hope he takes Black Panther just because I think it gives him more substance to work with and could possibly be a better film than Furious 8 is going to be. It just seems like it'd be more for a director to explore than a Fast and Furious sequel. But Mike, your thoughts?
When's that movie supposed to be coming out?
I think we got a couple years.
Okay, well, get the ball rolling. Yeah, fine, whatever. Get moving. That's my thought on it. At least we're gonna see what Jackie Robinson, James Brown guy is gonna be offering for the role this summer. So yeah, I can't wait to see him and get his own movie.
Joe?
I got nothing.
Philip?
I need somebody to explain to me what Black Panther's powers were. Is he just a badass, right? As the head of his Panther tribe, that was it? All right. I mean, I've seen him a few times on my kid's Hulk, but that's kind of all, actually.
Max?
I was gonna say, Max, can you?
All right, Black Panther. He's the king of a fictional African nation called Wakanda. They kind of dabble in giving him some like spirit powers, where he kind of turns into a human kind of panther werewolf deal. But sometimes they don't really touch that at all. He's just super badass. They've got vibranium weapons because a giant meteor vibranium struck or hit right where their nation was, so they got the monopoly on that. So yeah, he's more technology like ninja style than anything else. But yeah, man, F. Gary or F. Gary Gray. Let's do it. I like his movies, except for All the White People Die. And yeah, good.
Philip?
Oh, Max, you're awesome. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think it would be more intriguing to watch him develop this, but I don't. You see, I'm torn because I think Marvel has their own vision for this movie, but and that's where I'd be interested to know is he definitely would have whatever freedom he wanted with Furious 8 or whatever they're going to call it, Fast and Furious 8, I guess. And this one, I don't know necessarily that he would have as much freedom, but I definitely would love to see him in this one vice Furious 8.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving on. George Miller has declined to direct Akira, and it is rumored that that is Jonathan Nolan's next project, or Christopher Nolan's next project, sorry. Completely different. So, Philip, your thoughts?
So, I really enjoy, I've never read the manga. I've heard that's very different than the animated movie. Well, not completely different, but a lot longer, a lot of detail that's been left out. So it's interesting because have they stated it's going to be live action, or have they stated it's going to be CGI? I haven't heard yet. But based on that, I'm kind of interested to see Nolan's take on this. I think it would actually be interesting. I know, I can't even remember the person Dan was mentioning specifically, but he was more referring to, I think, a traditional like audition. So I think he's like a Japanese filmmaker. And so I'd be interested to see Nolan's take on it, or even it would have been interesting to see George Miller's perspective as well, because I think that would have been a great, interesting universe that he would have created. So it's going to be, I don't know, I'm hesitant because I still haven't seen Interstellar. I need to watch it before I judge it, so I'll have to wait and reserve before I can say anything beyond that.
I liked Interstellar. I know Mike did too. I know Max did not. I thought it was a really good movie. I don't know still how I feel about the ending. I haven't watched it yet a second time, but I thoroughly enjoyed everything except for maybe the last 10 minutes, which I'm not even sure how I felt about that yet. So, Mike, your thoughts?
It's just gonna be again my tired of like, why do we need a remake of this? I mean, I'm not saying this original. I'm not saying the first one, the original anime, was perfect or anything like that. And yeah, I've read some of the manga as well, and that's fine enough. And yeah, you're right, Philip. They do get into more detail with the manga, of course, and this is very much a truncated version of it. But at the time when I saw this for the first time, it was like it's stunning visually because of the animation, and then ultimately that's what really works for this film, more even so than the story, because the story can get very like whatever the hell, evolution and amoebas and whatever they're talking about in there. But for me, it was all about the style of the artwork, of the animation in and of itself, of the designs of the world of Neo Tokyo, of the designs of Tetsuo's like mutations and everything like that, and how he demonstrated his powers. And to just, if it's gonna be CGI, then great, I guess, if they can capture that style. If it's gonna be live action, well, it's just gonna be more CGI wizardry that we've seen in a dozen other movies just like it, and are equally just as batshit. So it's just like, it's just another one of my long line of questions of why do we need a live action or an update on this particular film or franchise, especially if it's just going to be the same story over again, you know?
Oh,
it's not like...
sorry.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead, Mike. I was just going to let you know I found out it was a... the rumor is it's a trilogy, so it would be slightly different.
Oh, well, I guess it would be following the manga, I guess, more at that point then, probably, since the manga definitely has, like, probably 3+ hours of worth of material to cover, but at the same time, it's like, read the book then.
I agree.
Max.
All right. Yeah, no, I like Akira. Watched it way back in the day. I think they could go ahead and make another one. Right? There's no reason not to in this day and age. Like, they're gonna remake everything anyway. But I feel like if they give it more of a 300 Watchmen style, like highly stylized kind of film, then maybe it'll work a little better. Also, I mean, this does give them the chance to kind of un-Japanese the movie a little bit. So watching the anime, everything the manga, you lose a little bit in translation. Is all I'm saying. And if they go to make their own movie, they set out everything, they write their own script for it, then it might play a little better, and you might get a little more from it. So. Yeah, I'm not gonna dog them, especially if they get a good director on this one. I think if they're just shooting it kind of like regular style live action, then you're gonna miss something, because like Mike's right, half of the reason you watch it is just because of this style and the look of it. So I'd like to see them do something like that. Just throw a bunch of money at it, get it looking different than just regular film. Have some of those anime. Like Neo Tokyo really needs to be kind of anime. So, yeah, I mean, I say do it as long as you're gonna do it right. And if you're not gonna do it right, like they made a remastered Ghost in the Shell anime where they kind of just updated the art and they made it more full, and they brought some different aspects to it, and that was really good. So I would say do that before you ruin a live action movie. But they're probably gonna ruin the live action movie.
Nice.
Joe?
So the problem with anime is it's anime. I've seen the Animatrix, and when I got my very first tattoo, there was some anime on. It was the first time I ever saw sex in a cartoon. So Yeah, I got no idea. Although you did mention one thing, the highly stylized, and it immediately got me thinking of Dick Tracy and Sin City and that sort of stuff. I would love to watch another movie like that. So if that's how they needed to do this, then I think that would be cool. I don't know anything about it, but I can't wait for another movie like that to come back out. Yeah.
I agree with you, Joe. I don't know much about it either, but I think if it was done that way, it'd be interesting too. All right, well, moving on. We've talked about Michael Bay. We've talked about action films, and, well, Will Smith says that we will probably see a Bad Boys 3 within the next 12 to 16 months. I mean, we already knew this, I think, and Will Smith is on that. I think he's trying to win back some of the fans that he lost over the whole Independence Day and the Men in Black fiasco and the After Earth fiasco. So, you know, he started off in Suicide Squad, which is hopefully a supporting role, not a starring role. And, you know, he's going to let other people shine in his film. And I'm hoping that Bad Boys 3 is the comeback trail continued and not more of what we've seen from him previously. I mean, I think Men in Black 3 was good. I really liked Men in Black 3, and it wasn't because of Will Smith. It was because of Josh Brolin. So who knows what we're going to get with Bad Boys 3, but I am mildly optimistic. Mike?
I only like Bad Boys 1, so whatever. Yeah, I don't get Will Smith sometimes. I mean, whenever he does take like a really dramatic turn, like for example, I finally did see Pursuit of Happiness. I actually did enjoy that for him, not for his son or anything like that, but for him, he actually did a good job. I like Ali, and I like the fun Will Smith movies too, like you said, Men in Black, Independence Day. So it's like whenever he does miss, it feels like kind of a big betrayal, I guess, from the fan base. That's the thing. I'm not an avid Will Smith fan either, but I do like the guy. I wish he'd show up in more charming movies that exemplify his talent more often than not, instead of like vanity projects like After Earth, which that wholly was, you know, nepotism at its full throttle. So hopefully Suicide Squad does kind of turn around, or maybe Suicide Squad gives us something that's different from his charming personality. We actually see him be kind of loathsome. And then, fine, if Bad Boys 3, if you want to do Bad Boys 3 so fucking bad, just do it.
Well, we know Martin Lawrence is hanging out Will Smith's dressing room right now, begging him.
Lawrence,
sign on.
Martin Lawrence needs a job, yeah.
He's like, please, I need to buy more tracksuits. Joe?
So I'm actually all about this, but not because of the Bad Boys 3, although I did like the first two movies. I actually love Independence Day. The speech from the president is rated in the top 10 worst speeches ever in movie history. It's fantastic. I still get goosebumps every time. But this is going to be a massive hit for any other reason other than Will Smith always does good when he's laying down music, and he just put out his first new song in forever, or not, it's a remix. So, you know, it's going to be a hit. He's turning it around. It's going to be great just because of the music. That's that's it. It's got to be better than After. That was horrible, but yeah.
After Earth was bad. I didn't think it could
really
be that bad. Yeah. Max is MIA, so let's go to Philip.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the Bad Boys series for what they are, the kind of the cop banner that carried on from the 90s. And so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they can actually rekindle that whole magic, because that would be cool. Because that would just be kind of fun to see him back in those roles. Like, I agree with you, Mike. Like, it's like what happened to that person. And I would love to see him do something different. But we'll see. Again, I think Suicide Squad is a wait and see kind of thing, and hopefully we get some good Will Smith and he kind of sets things right. But we'll have to see.
Well, he's got that football drama coming out, The Concussion.
Yes, he's the doctor.
Yeah, and that actually looks kind of pretty kind of interesting at least. So hopefully that's a good turnaround for him too.
Yeah, it looks heavy. It's one of the Oscar bait buzz movies. So I hope it's good too. Imagine this: the original draft of Bad Boys was written for Dana Carvey and John Lovitz. Can you picture that film? Anybody? That is a different movie. And I like both those guys, but Dana Carvey hasn't made a good movie since Wayne's World 2. And John Lovitz, guilty pleasure. I like most of his stuff when he shows up in it. I think the guy's funny.
You didn't like Master of Disguise?
Oh.
I loathed that movie. I thought the impressions were really good. They just weren't funny. He didn't do any. Dana Carvey's funny. His stand-up is really funny. I've seen him do impressions. It's really funny. But the material that he had for that movie, for those impressions, I didn't think it was funny. I mean, the turtle made me chuckle once, I think. It was a long time ago. I don't think I made it through the whole movie, though. So next week, no, the week 23rd, I believe, 21st, is the Back to the Future. When Marty McFly goes into the future, we're going to be on that day. And to honor that, they released a trailer for Jaws 19. This time, it's really, really personal. Did anybody watch that when I sent the link out? Anybody?
Yeah, I saw
Jaws 17, 50 Shades of Jaws. That was great.
Yeah, it was definitely over the top. It was, it was interesting, yeah, because now I don't even remember all of them, but yeah, it was very cheesy, but very appropriate for that movie and the way horror movies were being done back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed Will Smith.
We're talking about the Jaws 19 trailer. Did you watch that, Max?
Yeah, it was funny as hell. I like Cyber Jaws. Like, now you're free to go on live.
That was good. The Robo Jaws, Jaws 8.
This one was Jaws in Love.
I think there was a 50 Shades of Jaws, wasn't it? Or was that a different one? Joe, did you watch that? It was good.
I did watch it. I have a problem with stupid humor though, so I can't like Will Ferrell. I can't watch his movies. They're so bad that I just can't do it. And so I made it through about Jaws 10, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand what's happening. So
you can sit here and tell me that you can sit through freaking Transformers and Bad Boys 2, but you can't watch a 4-minute Jaws.
I watched all of it. I'm just not sure what happened. And part of the problem was I didn't know it had anything to do with the whole Back to the Future thing. So I had no context to any of what was going on. I'm just, why would somebody do this and waste internet space? Why did this happen?
I think that's my favorite quote on this podcast so far, wasting internet space. All right, this next story might make Mike happy or make Mike want to throw his computer away, because I know Mike loves any Ghostbuster news he gets. First, we had the all-female Ghostbusters, which looks like it's shaping up to be a fun film. Then they announced that they were going to make an all-male Ghostbusters because we can't just let women run the movie. And now we get Ghostbusters animated film in the works, which I think the plan is to bring back the original cast to voice, and since they don't need Harold Ramis to provide the voice of Egon, they can do it this way. Is the only way I could see them, but I don't know any other reason why they would want to do an animated film. I don't get it. They got the original cast back in the Ghostbusters movie. So, Mike, you take this one. I can see your face cringing, so...
I'm not really cringing. I'm just not surprised, because... Again, everyone's about the universe building, even though they have zero product to show for it right now. I mean, yeah, hopefully the new iteration of the all-female Ghostbusters does well, but if it turns out to be a massive flop, all this rumor mill, all this work they're putting into this separate studio to solely focus on Ghostbuster stuff will seem like a gigantic waste of time if this first movie doesn't live up to their expectations or doesn't live up to the public's expectations. I'm actually on that train right now where I'm like, you know what, I've resigned to the fact that the remake is going to happen for everything that I love at some point or another. Back to the Future is going to get a remake at some point, I'm sure. The Jaws most likely will make it to 19 at some point in a new remake or a rebooted universe. So all I'm hoping for is that Ghostbusters, the new version, is gonna be fine, and I don't give two shits about an animated Ghostbusters movie because it's not like Marvel. It's not even like what DC is saying they're doing right now. It's all just a bunch of like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this out and this out. It's gonna be Ghost Dog Busters or whatever. It's for Ghostbusters to handle dogs specifically, dog ghosts or whatever. It's just they're gonna have a movie for everything, but they're all riding on this first movie to make everything work. And if that first movie doesn't work, then we're all gonna be like, oh God, we got at least 5, 6, 7 more years of this shit. So
You know what?
it better be a damn funny movie. It better be like the most hilarious movie of the year to make that work. It better reach original Ghostbusters level of hilarity because they're riding so much on this. They got the fact, yeah, they have a whole studio dedicated to this. It better work.
You know what these studios forget? Sony, Fox, even DC, is when everybody wants to copy Marvel, but when Marvel made Iron Man, the Avengers reference at the end was just a throw-in. They didn't actually have it mapped out where they were going to make 37 movies. They focused on Iron Man. They gave us a good film. Then they made The Incredible Hulk. They gave us a good film. Then they sat back and was like, okay, we've done 2 good movies. They've been fairly well received. Now let's start thinking of the bigger picture. So all these studios need to calm down, make a good movie with the thought of a expanded universe in the back of your mind, but let the first movie come out. Let the audience perceive it, because you just look like an idiot when that first movie comes out, Green Lantern, and nobody likes it, and then your whole universe is shot to shit, and you look silly. Joe?
So you're complete. Who cares? That's the problem. Who cares about Ghostbusters? I loved Ghostbusters when I was a kid. And because I loved it so much, I will sit down as an adult and watch them over and over and over. I don't care. I saw the link Bill sent me about animated, and I'm like, so what? And just closed it. It doesn't... Who cares? No, I don't know. Do people want to see that? I mean, is that the feeling they're getting, or they just think they can make money?
It's to make money, and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson really, really need a job.
Oh, fun little trivia thing I found while watching some videos about the real Ghostbusters cartoon that was on like during the 80s and 90s. Ernie Hudson auditioned for the role of Winston for the real Ghostbusters cartoon, but lost to Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, Max and I listened to him tell us that story at one of the most depressing Comic-Con panels I've ever been to in my life. Yeah, I went and auditioned for Ghostbusters. They recast it. I was on Psych. They recast me. I was on this, and then I got recast. I keep getting phone calls that we're going to do Ghostbusters, and then I get excited, and then they call me and tell me it's not going to happen, and then they call me and tell me it is going to happen, and then I'm excited again, and then they tell me it's not going to happen. Poor guy, poor Ernie Hudson. He deserves to work. He's not a bad actor. Max, your thoughts?
No, I'm never going to go see Ernie Hudson talk live again. I mean, I guess you could watch that what's with the Sarah McLachlan animal like Save These Animals commercial. You get about the same feeling watching that as listening to Ernie Hudson. The eyes of the angel far away. Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. Like
big soulful eyes of Ernie Hudson.
Oh man, dude, it's like Ernie Hudson needs to work. You can help save Ernie Hudson. You donate $1 every day. But no, I'm actually on board for this Ghostbusters cartoon. If Warner Brothers and DC have any say in it, I would say make cartoons over live action films every day of the week, because I'm way happier with the animated than I am with the live stuff. I've got no problem with them doing the cartoon. I'm more interested to see that, just because they usually the studio takes their hands off, and the people who are making the film get to do what they want to do. I mean, if it sucks, then you can just write it off as another crappy cartoon, and it's like nobody really cares. If it's good, then you're one of the few people who have made good animation. It's just, like I don't see it as a lose-lose situation. It's definitely a win-win.
And to my comment earlier, it is a shame that Dan Aykroyd doesn't work more, because I was watching a documentary on SNL. That dude is legitimately a comedic genius, and it's just a shame that he's putting all of his soul into Ghostbusters. But does anybody remember that before? I mean, I think this came out before even the Ghostbusters movie. There was a Ghostbusters with the monkey, the 2 heavyset guys, and the monkey, yes. And they went through the little machine. Yeah,
it was a Filmation Studios version of Ghostbusters.
Yep, there we go. Why don't they make that? They can get Andy Serkis to play the monkey. It's fantastic.
Live action?
Live action. There you go.
Only if it's Curious George. If the monkey's got to be Curious George.
At the rate this Ghost Universe thing is going, Andy Serkis will have his own like Slimer standalone movie. Slimer will be completely motion captured.
Hey, if Andy Serkis is in it, I'll give it a shot because I like the guy. I think he's fun. Philip, did I talk to you about this yet? I can't remember.
I don't care. So if you didn't, it wouldn't matter. I mean, so Max, I get what you're saying, but you actually have high hopes, sir, because the fact that they're producing an article about this means they're putting money behind it. Means they want it to be like a summer kids kind of movie. Because otherwise, I agree with you. If they were making off small
Oh,
little things like DC, Marvel, or what Marvel used to do, then I would agree.
Is it coming out like in the theaters, or is it going to go straight to DVD? Because if it's coming out in the theaters, it's going to suck.
I think it is. They're planning a theatrical release, which I don't get Sony, because Sony's doing the Ghostbusters animated film, and they're doing a Spider-Man animated film. Isn't that going to confuse people? Like if you're releasing live action?
No, it's not going to confuse people. People are a lot smarter than you think. I really fucking hate it. Everyone's like, oh, you can't do it because people get confused. No, people can fucking watch a movie and then go and watch something else and know the two things will separate.
Sony's doing it. Sony's doing it all cartoons because you can't send emails and then have it get hacked about cartoons. Nobody will care. That's why.
All right, that is all I've got.
All right.
So hold on, let's do the topic first. So Max presented a topic for tonight's show. We're going to discuss best student teacher or mentor apprentice movie. Max, take it first, buddy. What's your favorites?
Fight Club probably is gonna win out because I feel like yeah, that's the best one. It's definitely the most quirky. You definitely didn't see any of it coming before you watched the movie, and it's the best ride. What else we got? I'm gonna take it way back. The Sword and the Stone is one of my favorites. The cartoon.
So yeah, student teacher film. I think my favorite student teacher film is going to be Good Will Hunting. I love that movie. That fits, right? That's student. Yeah. So
Yep, that works.
That is hands down my favorite. That was the first movie that came to mind, and then I was thinking Mentor Apprentice. I just watched Kickboxer recently. That movie is totally a guilty pleasure. I love that. And then Bloodsport. That's another good one. They're pretty much the same movie, but I like them both for different reasons. Mike, you're looking at your DVD wall. What you got for us, buddy?
Come back to me. I just forgot what it was because you took mine, ass.
Oh, sorry. Joe P. What you got to say, man?
So mine's guilty pleasure. Every animation, every movie, every iteration, it doesn't matter, Ninja Turtles. Period. I love the Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
I do too. I actually found some enjoyment in the new film, the Michael Bay
Absolutely.
produced one.
Absolutely.
Mike?
I think he wants to keep going.
Well, no, I was gonna say, yeah, Good Will Hunting, but now it just came back to me. Training Day.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Somebody would mention that.
It's the most demented mentor-mentee relationship, sure. One of the more demented. Actually, you know what? Silence of the Lambs, too, while I'm at it.
Yeah,
that is kind of about like a mentor
That's
and
a
a
good
student.
one. That is a real good pull right there.
But I'd probably take Training Day over that as my favorite one, just because of the fact that like they do spend a lot more time working off of each other than in most other movies, where someone's on their own for like they're riding in the car together for the most part. And he's making them smoke PCP and everything like that. So,
He's getting beaten up by rapists in the street.
Yeah, really.
Another one I just thought of, Karate Kid. With Ralph Macchio, buddy Ralph Macchio. Philip?
So for me, so yeah, when you mentioned that, Mike, like I have to go like for mine, in the Hannibal universe or whatever you want to say, the Silence of the Lambs universe, it's the Hannibal TV show from a demented perspective, mentor-mentee, because that's just so good. But like from movies, I'm gonna kind of go kind of fun, kind of cheesy, a little Hellboy. Because you've got the doctor trying to correct him, trying to get him on the right path, even though he does what he wants, which is a fun movie. The sequel's not so much. I always hope they'd make a third one, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Nobody mentioned Kickboxer 5. Come on, guys.
Is that the one with the dude from Saved by the Bell in it?
No, it's the
No.
second, third, and fourth one has the guy from Step by Step in it. But the dude was a real martial artist. I mean, he wasn't like the doofus he was on Step by Step. Mike?
Well, if we're talking Kickboxer, why don't we throw in a little Sidekicks, the Chuck Norris Imaginary Friend action movie?
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. I know the movie I'm watching with my kids this weekend. Oh, I'm gonna write that down. Thanks, Mike. With late Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah, well, Bastion from Neverending Story 2. Or
Oh, there you
Sequest.
go.
Yeah, Bill from It. I met him once. He was at a antique show that my grandparents were setting up, and he was there signing autographs.
That's an odd location, but
I know, right? Anyway. Philip, what do you got for video game news, buddy?
All right, so we got a couple big games out this week. So you've got Transformers Devastation to kind of bring back Transformers. But this one is like in the 80s art style. So if you love that 80s cartoon, so I watched the first 5 minutes of somebody else playing it, and I was like, this looks stupid and boring. And then I actually finally watched some actual gameplay. It actually looks kind of cool. So it's by Platinum Games. They've made, I'm trying to think of a decent game that people can compare it to, because most of the games they've made tend to be fast-paced action, but they're not usually third-paced action where you're one-on-one, which is more what this is. And you play primarily, I think, as Optimus Prime. I didn't really get a chance to see more than that. It's definitely worth a check out if you like Transformers, and it's definitely got that art style. I don't know if they did this intentionally, because I think this is what turned me off initially, is the dialogue and the music is like straight from the 80s cartoon. So don't expect better production quality. It's just horrible cheese. I was like, okay, whatever. I guess maybe they're trying to set that up. For those of you that haven't played Uncharted and you actually own a PS4, if you switched, I guess, from Xbox, the Uncharted collection comes out on Friday, so definitely check that out. Today, Rock Band 4 came out. So basically, the only way I would recommend this to people, I definitely want to get it eventually, it's that basically even the review said this. There's not going to be any online play, so you need to basically make sure you're going to have people in your own house to play the game. You need DLC, because most of the on-disc music, I've been watching this and waiting. There's a few things that are kind of cool, but there's not very much tracks on the actual disc. Like Van Halen, Panama's on there. I'm trying to think of. There's not too many other really huge artists or huge titles on it. So for the most part, you need that backwards compatible DLC. Otherwise, you're going to get bored. What's that, Mike? I saw you on mute first.
I was just going to say Panama, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It's not very good. But definitely, if you've owned it, if you own the previous ones, if you had... Basically, that's really what this seems to be. This is an homage to people that used to own it, more than anything else. I think the instruments, if you buy the Xbox One version of it, the instruments will work because you have to pay $80 and it comes with basically an adapter. And then for the PS4, they just natively work if you had a PS3 version. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
So I don't have to spend $80 to get this. So me begging Liz let me spend
$60.
$300. Okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah, 60 or 80, yeah, depending on what you buy it for. And then the Prison Architect. So it's unfortunate Dan's not here, because the only reason why I wanted to bring this up is because he was complaining last week or 2 weeks ago about how early access games suck. And how they're awful. But this is one of the ones that actually kind of came through. It got released today. So definitely check it out if you're into city building. It's very demented, because if nothing else, you can build it and just create prison riots. It's a lot of fun. And then the biggest news this week, well, rumor, I guess, but I mentioned this at the Tokyo Game Show, which is the PS4 is going to have a price drop of $50. So if you were looking for it, it's definitely going to happen. So it'll be $349.99. But beyond that, that's pretty much it. I don't know if that. I expected that PS4 price drop from scuba diving cousin It there.
All right, so I got a quick idea, Mike and Max. I think what we should do is Let me see if I can remove these effects real quick. But no, seriously, I think as a collaboration between McGTV and Three Geeks, we should record and make the Ernie Hudson PSA. I think that would be funny. With the Ghostbusters cartoon, we could tie it together. I think that could get us some fun, trending stuff. Don't you? I mean, all we need is an Ernie Hudson Ghostbuster action figure, right?
We
Yeah,
could be playing
good luck finding that.
Sarah McLachlan. We'd be playing the Sarah McLachlan music in the background, and then
We'll do a parody. Yeah, we'll do.
Ghostbusters animated. You know, freaking whatever else you got kicked off of. It's like, what all these things have in common? They don't have Ernie Hudson.
In the arms of the Ernie.
Doesn't that sound funny? We got to do that. Max will write a script. It'll be fun.
Or for Ernie Hudson.
And
Just give him $1.
Max, what do you got for comic book news? Anything?
All right. Frank Miller is back on, or he's starting up his new the Dark Knight Returns series, the third installment to kind of finish up the trilogy there, I guess. So that's going to be coming out November 25th. And I talked about it before, but the new actual news is they're doing a few spin-off comic books off of that. They're going to set up kind of a Frank Miller's Batverse. So it's going to be kind of cool just to see. Like so far, they've only announced they're doing the Atom as one of the spin-offs because they said that he has a major role in the actual story. So that'll be pretty cool, I think. So I hope that he makes up for the Dark Knight Strikes Back with this one because I don't know what was going on with the Dark Knight Strikes Back. That is not unbelievable.
Awesome.
And then there was something else. Oh yeah, Power Man and Iron Fist are getting back together. They're getting their road on the show there. Next year, before the Luke Cage show comes out on Netflix, so 2016 sometime, they're gonna release Luke Cage and Iron Fist comic book. The guys are back together, the boys are back in town, and that should be a lot of fun too. That's all I got.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you to Joe. Joe is our first listener ever, guys. He has been with the show since the beginning. He's our first fan, first supporter. He was with us when we sucked worse than we suck now. He has always been there. He's been there to call Max out, and we appreciate it, Joe. We're glad that you were able to come on today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Beard. That's right.
I didn't even know your beard was that magnificent. I'm in awe.
It's awesome. You know, the problem with having a totally awesome beard is only the dudes notice. Chicks don't care at all.
They don't understand. The chicks shave their beards because they don't know that it holds your power.
So please like us below, rate and review, send us a comment. Nice. Check us out on iTunes. We appreciate all of the support that we have been receiving. Our iTunes feed is awesome. The popularity, the rating, we are doing really well, and it's thanks to everybody listening. So if you could take 2 seconds, rate us there. Just hit the like button below as you're watching us right now. It helps. Check out Mike at youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. He's got an awesome Suicide Squad music video that I highly recommend checking out. I will share that out again tonight. So thank you, and have a great night.